Hello, welcome to Serving the Valley. I'm Ron Justice. This is a Cedar Falls television production that tries to get you up close and personal to what's going on around here that makes this such a nice place to call home. Here's another great example of that. We're going to actually talk a little bit about history, but a little bit about the future of the Cedar Falls Historical Society. And to help us along that path, can we still say you're kind of new, Carrie, to the area?
Yes, you could say that. I just started as the director of the Historical Society July 1st of last year, so not quite a year ago.
Carrie Alderts, who is an Iowa woman, is that right?
Yes, I grew up in Parkersburg, went to the University of Northern Iowa, and then spent the last couple of years working in Clinton, Iowa, before moving back to this area.
Excellent. Well, welcome home, so to speak. The Historical Society, we don't have enough time, I'll tell you right up front, to tell you everything that's going on with the Cedar Falls Historical Society, but some important moves are being made by the Historical Society that's looking to the future of the Historical Society. And to help us along that route, I'm going to call upon our crack production department to let us, there's an example right there, and actually earlier the production crew was over in your place, actually in that place. And Carrie had a nice job explaining a little bit about what this future is all about. And I think I'm going to ask for that to be done right now, and then Carrie and I will carry on a conversation after that.
The Cedar Falls Historical Society is in the midst of a campaign to connect and protect the history of Cedar Falls. This project will create a new museum home for the Cedar Falls Historical Society and will be unlike any other existing museum in town. It will give the Historical Society a new, larger classroom for programs, which will seat twice as many people as their existing classroom. The $1.825 million project will convert the existing 315 Clay Street building into a new interactive museum and educational center, including an addition to the west as the property extends all the way to Franklin Street. With the addition, the Cedar Falls Historical Society building will feature 4,000 square feet of museum space with an additional 2,000 square feet of collection storage in the climate-controlled lower level, greatly reducing the dust and controlling the humidity for the countless historical artifacts.
We were in desperate need of extra space for our collection. Like most museums, we only exhibit approximately 3% of our collection at any given time. And after the 2008 flood, we lost all of the storage space that was in the Ice House Museum. So we had been using borrowed and rented storage for years to preserve our collection. So acquiring this building was very important to us because obviously our mission is to collect historical artifacts that tell the history of Cedar Falls for the purpose of research, education, and exhibition. So having that collection intact and being able to preserve it is a large part of our mission.
The Victorian home will continue to display items and artifacts just as it has in the past. The new museum and educational center will be much different from what Cedar Falls Museum visitors are used to.
One of the digital components that we are planning is some interactive story maps.
I think everybody, it doesn't matter if they're younger or older, they love to go into a museum and they love to touch things. And of course, from my standpoint, this is what I'm always telling, don't touch it, because a lot of our artifacts are very fragile. This gives us a wonderful opportunity to tell people, yes, touch it. And it's going to do something, you can interact with it, it'll help tell our story. We're really looking forward to this opportunity.
The existing structure will see extensive remodeling to the main floor to include a digital interactive exhibit telling the story of Cedar Falls over the years. The second floor of the new museum space, created in the new addition to the building, will feature a gallery space for the history of transportation in Cedar Falls, including a very popular train exhibit.
So many people are familiar with our William J. Lenore train layout, which is located here in the basement of the Carriage House Museum. And currently you can view that train exhibit from two sides, and those will all be moved to the second story of the new museum. And so you'll be able to see that exhibit from all sides. It'll be a 360-degree layout, and there will be more history and interactive components focused on the history of transportation in Cedar Falls.
The Cedar Falls Historical Society is hoping to complete the fundraising for this project by late summer so they can do a groundbreaking sometime this fall and will create a space to continue to preserve our history.
We've been here for over 55 years and, quietly collecting the history of Cedar Falls to preserve it for the future. And I think that that's what people need to be aware of, and that's what people need to be proud of, that we are here and we have a continuing interest in preserving that history for future generations.
Wow, what a way to connect and protect, and that's what this is all about. No, that's what the Historical Society is all about. Connecting with those who indeed may have something to contribute, and also holding on to the historical stuff, which is what I want to touch on right now, because any of us who have been through a downsizing project, now in this case, you're allowing more room. How do you decide what is staying and what you really don't need any more of stuff, Carrie?
Well, we do have a collections policy where we focus on items that are related to the history of Cedar Falls specifically. And so we look at things that we don't have a lot of in our collection. So if there's something that we have a lot of already, that's obviously something that we maybe don't need more of. But if it's something that represents a part of Cedar Falls' history that we really don't have in our collection, we're always looking to collect more of those items. So things from over 100 years ago all the way up until things that happened yesterday can be a part of our history.
Part of what takes place in the Cedar Falls Historical Society operation is a big need for volunteers. In what kind of areas would these volunteers be needed?
Yes, so we do rely a lot on our volunteers, and one of our greatest needs is for hosts at our various museums during the weekends, especially. So our Ice House Museum, our Little Red Schoolhouse, and our Victorian Home Museum are all open on the weekends, and we're always looking for people who like interacting with the public to host at those sites and to welcome visitors during the weekends. We also are always looking for people to help with educational programs, so if you like working with kids, that's one area where you can get involved, and also serving on the councils for our various buildings. So each building has a council that helps support the volunteering needs of those buildings.
I'm just kind of curious, since we just met, what is it about history that attracts you to want to serve in the capacity that you're in?
I believe that local history is very important. I think a lot of people think of history and they think of something that happened somewhere else a long time ago and it has nothing to do with them. And when you start studying your local history, you see that that's not true. There's history all around us. There's history that got us to where we are today. So it helps you understand how your community has grown and changed over the years, and also creates a sense of pride in where you come from.
And specifically, you're not interviewing for the job, you already have it. What was it about what's going on in the Cedar Valley, specifically in Cedar Falls, that was attractive for you?
Cedar Falls is continuing to grow, and the Historical Society is growing with it, so it's very exciting with our new museum coming up that we've seen the video for, where we'll be able to explore the changes in Cedar Falls over the years with our business and industry and agriculture and transportation, and really get to understand how Cedar Falls has grown over the years and will continue to grow.
Just curious, as I was watching that presentation and some of the information that we're flashing on the screen right now, there's opportunities for this story to be told other than on Channel 15 and other than what you've been doing with the video work and so forth. Opportunities for other service clubs and organizations to let you or members of the staff and the volunteers get out and tell the story. If someone's interested in doing that, how would they make contact? To get that accomplished, I guess, is what I'm going to.
Yeah, so you can visit our website and always give us a call, email me. My email address is cfhistory@cfu.net. And depending on what topic you want covered, one of us on the staff there would be happy to come talk to your group about the things that we have going on and the history of our community.
One of the things when I talk to somebody about history is if you had a blank check, and we've already covered part of this, the check is not quite made out yet, but there are plans ahead. Looking down the road, and that's what you try to prepare for, is space and needs down the road. As you walked into this situation, you were probably aware that there were some future plans coming up that you were going to be a part of. Looking further ahead than that, if there was a blank check, where would you go next? Not to get ahead of the story, but what are the needs right now for the Historical Society in Cedar Falls? This is going to cover it for a while, the plans coming up, but what down the road?
Yes, so this new museum will really give us opportunities to expand all of our activities. It will give us a lot more space to do educational programs, and so we will be able to better serve our community in that way by providing that space for people to come and learn. And so we'll be able to continue expanding the programs and educational opportunities that we offer, which this building will really help with. And as you've talked about with the space for the collections, so this will also give us space to keep growing those collections and caring for those collections properly so that they'll be cared for generations to come.
If the show was all over and it was just you and I talking, the real question I want to ask you about, how does one get to learn to run the train set? I'm sure that's a private club. You're not supposed to touch the train set. But if somebody really wanted to, okay, I'm getting the indication you can't do that, Roy. That's really not allowed. There actually are, or there's a committee regarding the train set. And that's part of what's going to be moving under the plan.
Yes,
Is that right?
Yes, so we do have a committee of people who are very passionate about the model train set, and they're the ones who know how to run it and care for it properly so that it lasts for generations in the future also. And so I'm sure anyone on that committee would be happy to help teach someone new who has an interest in that as well.
Oh, you're whetting my appetite right now. And that, by the way, is part of the new facility that's going to go up on, is it the second floor of the?
Yes, so currently the model train is only viewable from two sides in the basement
Right.
of the carriage home. And so that will be moved to the second floor of the new museum where you'll be able to view it from all sides and really get to see all of the wonderful details that are part of that model train.
Well, I personally know one of those individuals on that committee who is trained and does run the train set, and I've tried and he won't let me get close to it. So I guess that's all there is to that. Once again, the contact information, either to get a hold of Carrie or at the Historical Society, if you're interested in having part of this program to your service club or organization to further the cause of what's going on in the history of Cedar Falls, there's the website right there to make contact with. And Carrie, I want to thank you very much for joining us on our program today.
Thank you for having me.
And next time we come along, who knows what the story is that will unfold. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for joining us. Until the next time, serving the Valley, I'm Roy Justice.